What's up, everybody, and welcome to Cryptocopia's weekly AMA live stream. Cryptocopia is a community focusing on all things cryptocurrency. It's perfect for seasoned vets and for beginners who are new to the space. I'm your host, Michael Kripkala. You can find me in Discord or on Twitter at Mike Spellcheck. And don't forget to follow Three-Eyed Raven and Kilone on Twitter while you're on there, because they were a huge part of bringing together our guest and Cryptocopia today. Speaking of our guest, we're joined today by none other than CEO and founder of Stratis, Chris True. So for those of you who don't know about Stratis, it's a blockchain network and smart contract platform that's built to make it easy for enterprises to create trustless technology. Stratis is a Microsoft Silver partner. They have a full node available for download on the Azure Marketplace. And the project launched way back in August of 2016. So Chris and his team they're battle-tested veterans of the cryptocurrency space. Without further ado, Chris, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. Wanted to thank you again for joining us. Why don't we just get right into it? Because you guys have a lot happening and there's a lot to ask you about. So could you tell us just a little bit about what blockchain as a service means? Because Stratis is a blockchain as a service offering. And how would one of your clients go about using it for their application?
Yeah, so blockchain as a service, like software as a service, is all about making it easier for the person to access the service. So bundling it up into a package that they either pay monthly for or yearly for. So it has a very simple licensing model, and it allows a company to come along and utilize our blockchain technology without the huge learning curve involved. I mean, I wouldn't say that there's no learning curve involved, but our platform and what we've developed, our modular architecture, our SDKs, our APIs, most definitely make it easier for C# developers that want to get into the blockchain space.
So obviously, everyone's aware of the bear market that we're in right now. It's no surprise that, as we've watched the news, we've seen Consensus laying off employees or project shuttering every now and then. As their treasuries run out. So I was curious, as a company who's been active in crypto for almost 3 years now, as you guys are veterans of the space, how do you sustain development and keep rolling out these releases while protecting your company from the same fate?
I actually spoke with someone about this the other day, and so we only raised $600,000 during our ICO, which was a very small amount of money. I mean, the projects that raised either side of us was the Waves platform and Lisk, 30,000 Bitcoin, 15,000 Bitcoin for Lisk, and we raised 915. So from the very first day, we were at a disadvantage, and we had to be very, very careful with our funds. So there was no going out and buying big houses, no going out and buying Lambos. All we could do was focus on delivering the product, but one of the real benefits that we got is we weren't able to pay huge salaries. So what actually happened, we only attracted guys that just really wanted to work at Stratis. And what that's proven is they were developers, and most of the guys are still here now, and still not earning huge salaries and still completely dedicated to the cause. So I think a mixture of that and also being cautious with funds. We wanted to be able to go for 3 years to 5 years. So we couldn't just all of a sudden on day one hire 20 developers. So we scaled up the business very slowly. And what that allowed us to do is be very, very efficient with our developers. We don't sort of have anyone who sits there twiddling their thumbs for a few hours a day. It is literally everyone is flat out constantly.
Last week, there was actually this subreddit within our Stratis platform sub called State of the Stratis Platform, where the community was airing some of their thoughts and, asking questions about the direction for 2019. In particular, there were some prominent community leaders that were describing what they saw as a lack of transparency coming from core Stratis. I was just hoping you could share with us a little bit of your thoughts about that thread in particular and what the role of community members play in the Stratis ecosystem, but also really the level of engagement that the core team for Stratis is responsible for showing that wider community.
Yeah, so one of our main sort of ingredients for our success is our community. They're very passionate, and that's why we love them so much. You know, a lot of them have supported us from the very early days, and they've supported us for quite a long time, you know, while we've been building up this journey. But certainly I think that in the very beginning, we probably were one of the most visible projects. We gave our community the most visibility. I would be on Discord all day long, Slack at the time, talking with the community all day long. But we just got to a point where that just wasn't sustainable anymore, you know? You get to a point where you just have to stop talking and you actually have to do some work, you know? And that was a situation we got to in that, from my perspective, as far as I'm concerned, everyone would like us to get the technology out. People just want us to have the products out. They want us to have the features out. So the utility is there on the blockchain, you know? So that was very much the focus. So I was not on Slack as much, and the core team were not as visible as they once was, you know? But that's something that has certainly improved over the last couple of months. And myself, I've been active on our Discord again, on Telegram. And that's something that we want to do moving forward. More of these AMAs as well. We want to get that communication channel open back up with the community. You know? Mm-hmm. So I would definitely agree with the points that they made. And we don't claim to be perfect at the end of the day. We've been doing this for nearly 3 years, and I'm still learning every day, you know? So it's just a case of correcting these issues, you know, and working with the community, providing that visibility.
So how this is going to work is I will switch between some questions submitted via Twitter and submitted via Discord. But again, I mean, you know, you talk about the vibrant group of, you know, the vibrant following that you have behind the STRATIS platform. It's very, very clear, because so far this is our, you know, our widest reaching, and we've seen the most interest in this AMA and the most passion from everybody involved. So next up, we got Crypto Villain _. They're asking, what are you planning to do marketing wise to attract more business?
Yeah. So Mark, from that thread on Reddit, you'll see that marketing was one of the concerns raised by the community, and we will hold our hands up in that. Our marketing has not been on the same level as some of our competitors. But if you look at the budgets between the two, if we would have spent the same amount of on marketing as our competitors did in our first year, there'd be no STRATIS right now. That's for sure. You know, it comes down to budget, what we're actually able to spend on marketing. Up until now, the gap's been filled by our community. A perfect example is if you look at their number of followers on Twitter, they're exactly the same as ours, but they've probably had a multi-million-pound budget on social media marketing, whereas we've spent zero, and the community filled that gap, you know. But the trouble is the community can't fill the gap on the business side of things, you know. So there's no getting away from the spend on going to market and bringing new businesses in. So this year we've got a whole strategy around our go-to-marketing. One of the prongs of attacks is working with the channel. So consultancy companies that don't necessarily have an internal blockchain practice, but they have all of these customers that are asking about blockchain services. So it makes sense for them to partner with a company like STRATIS that has the platform, that has the expertise, that has the enterprise experience even before blockchain, that can come in and work with them and deliver solutions, sometimes white label. So we may come in as the consultancy company, you know, but that's going to be one of our main roads in. And we're already speaking with several large global players in the consultancy world, you know.
So Hot Trout is a you know, a longtime holder of STRATIS. They're wondering specifically about the institutional money that you know, really all of crypto, if you go on Twitter or Reddit or wherever, everybody's looking for institutional money to flood the market. What future developments would you expect would be most appealing to larger institutions on the STRATIS network?
So we have two. The first being our ICO platform / STO platform that's going to allow people to do actual regulated offerings. So that's going to allow institutional money to come in. You know, it's not going to be a case of the old school ICO model where large financial institutions are not going to be pumping money into it. These are going to be regulated STOs as such to allow that institutional money to come in. And then the other side of the business is the DLT wing of Stratis, because we obviously have a DLT offering. Most of the use cases that we've seen, most of this demand that we've seen from large financial organizations is always around DLT. And this was one of the reasons why we even decided to develop the DLT solution.
So TK Mara wants to know if you could talk about some of the projects that are currently using or are planning to use the Azure Strat platform.
Yeah, so we have Gluon, who are doing fleet management, IoT, AI. So it's all about smart cars and using that the data from the car. So we have all of these cars driving around and they're collecting loads of data, but it's not being correlated. It's not really been used for anything. If you imagine a specific model of a car is constantly having the same fault, unless those cars are constantly being brought back into the manufacturer for service, they won't actually pick that up and see that as a fault. Whereas with the Gluon type connected car, they would actually be getting alerts for all of those issues happening on the car. And then once it hits a certain threshold, they'd say, okay, maybe we need to do a recall now because this looks like a prominent problem with the car, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's one of their use cases. The other project is MediConnect. They are looking to revolutionize the pharmaceutical industry in the UK. So currently in the UK, we have online pharmacies where you can get prescription medications from, but they don't share any information between them. So there's nothing stopping me from buying very strong painkillers from one pharmacy and then buying very strong painkillers from another pharmacy. There's just nothing in place to stop that. So, I mean, everyone could probably understand at this point now how the blockchain can solve that problem. And we can have a shared database that doesn't require any of the participants to trust each other. So when they prescribe medication to a patient, they write some information, that prescription to the blockchain. So when he goes to the second pharmacy and tries to get the second prescription, they can actually see that and it will be flagged up, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I could talk about MediConnect all day and Gluon. There's so much going on. And then we've got some other projects, D-Stream being one of them. They're building out a whole gaming infrastructure, doing some really, really cool things. And what I really like about the projects that are building on the Stratis platform is they're really focused on the product. They're just focusing on getting that product out and actually pushing forward, and pretty much like Stratis. And these are the kinds of companies that we want to work with, you know.
Sober Unicorn wants to know, how does Stratis view the future of STOs? So with the stock market currently valued in the tens of trillions, obviously this is a huge sector for disruption. What do you see the future of tokenized securities looking like, and how might Stratis play a role there?
Yeah, I think we've already seen a huge shift from the ICOs of 2017, 2018 to this whole STO. I think it's only going to get bigger over the next couple of years. And I think that regulators have really found sort of a comfortable place, you know, that they can get to with these STOs, in that they can allow people to raise funds in cryptocurrencies, but also have the minimum amount of regulation to ensure that responsible investors are investing in these projects. Because I mean, like in the US with the SEC and the whole thing around having to be an approved investor, it's actually there to protect people. I know that it's a burden for a lot of people, but it also protects a lot of people, you know. And there's been a huge amount of people that have lost money from ICOs in 2017, 2018. The stats of the projects that are no longer here anymore that did ICOs in that time is just ridiculous, you know. So I think that it can only be a good thing, you know.
Yeah, and I would imagine too that the concept of a security token is way more comfortable and more within the wheelhouse of the SEC than some of these more experimental ways of tokenizing either a product or a vote, or name an example.
Yeah, I totally agree.
ESGT Crypto is asking, so in recent times, blockchain and crypto projects have been a new source of employment for blockchain specialists on one hand, crypto enthusiasts on the other. Does Stratis have any plans to recruit more ad hoc or main staff in order to encourage employment within the blockchain community?
Yeah, definitely. We're hiring all the time. We've got several vacancies open now. I'd say the main vacancy that we have open now is for a head of marketing. We're looking to bring someone in who can just spearhead our marketing and implement our strategy. Well, help us develop our strategy and then actually implement said strategy. So, yes, certainly we're always growing as a company and we're always hiring new people. What I will say is that it's very difficult to find blockchain developers that actually know anything at the low level. We probably have, I won't put a number on it, but we have a lot of interviews where somebody's CV looks amazing, but when they've come in and we've actually interviewed them and we've digged into their experience, all they've ever done was write a smart contract. If you ask them about the low-level architecture of a decentralized network, peer-to-peer communications, they don't have any idea. So it is very hard to find knowledgeable blockchain developers. And what we've been doing for the last year is just looking for what we consider to be the best C# developers, the most intelligent guys, the guys that are going to finish work at 6 p.m., go home and carry on reading, that just have this desire to learn like I do. And it's worked out really well for us. We're seeing guys sort of 3 months and they're up and running, they're writing low-level parts of the Stratis code base,
Chris, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you might want people to know about?
No, one thing that I would like to say is just a big thank you to our community for supporting us and sticking with us for all of this time. I know it's been a long journey getting to here, but we're very, very close to being exactly where we need to be, and a lot of it is thanks to you guys. So thank you very much.
All right, great. Well, listen, everybody, don't forget to show Cryptocopia some love by hitting the subscribe button, the notification bell on YouTube below this video to watch some more of our AMAs. We do these weekly AMAs literally every week, and we've really been hitting the ground running in the past 5 or 6 weeks. So tomorrow we're actually going to announce our guest for next week on Twitter. So make sure to follow @crypto_copia to see who is up on deck. And you can also join as a member of our Discord if you click the link on the bottom of this video in the video description. Chris, thank you one last time. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.